Paul in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex.
Go ahead.
Yes, my question for him is about the brain scanners. And I'm one of the groups that's going to target with it, actually. You might say this is immoral, but I certainly don't think it should be criminal. I'm a racist, and I have severe concerns about that when I walk down the street one day and look at a black person hostily, I'm going to get arrested.
All right, let me stop and get a comment from Wayne. This is all quackery. What they do is they say these defense companies make money off the body scanners. Now they say brain scanners. It's like lie detectors. It's just a new quack machine to say you're guilty. Wayne Madsen.
Right, and I just wonder how much money Michael Chertoff, who's got a financial stake in the body scanners, has in these brain scanning machines. I understand Homeland Security is considering them. It should be stated that Chertoff still is a paid consultant to Janet Napolitano, the Homeland Security Secretary, just like John Negroponte is still consulting over at the State Department. These are outrages, more outrages from Obama.
Yep, we'll be back. More calls. All right, I should have gone to calls earlier. I just greedily want to sit here and ask Wayne Madsen question after question and issue after issue. But we're going to continue throughout the week with more extremely powerful and informative guests. I'm just going to leave it at that for you this week. We got some giant, groundbreaking guests lined up here on the show. Michael in Illinois, you're on the air with Wayne Madsen and WayneMadsenReport.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, guys, cool. God bless, first of all. I want to ask about the whole Fed audit situation and what makes you guys think that if there is an audit, we've seen the lengths these guys will go to cover their tracks.
Okay, nothing's perfect, but we're identifying the bankers as the oligarchy, and Congress has the purview to run our banking system and our currency and credit, and so we want it back to Congress because at least it's public and accountable. Wayne Madsen.
Well, certainly, anytime you have an audit of anything, you're going to be able to get documentation. It's the same thing why I favor civilian trials of these so-called terrorists because through discovery and cross-examination, we're going to get a lot more information about who they're working for and their networks than we would get from a military tribunal. Same thing with an audit by Congress. We're going to get a lot more information and documentation about who the real criminals are in this bank fraud that we see.
Well, Wayne, I mean, the spin out there has been don't audit the Fed. They'll win if you do. The Fed is fighting with everything they've got to not be audited. And, I mean, Michael, what are you getting at? We just let them continue on? We don't audit them? We don't try to abolish them?
I think we should go after them criminally, like you said.
I agree, but an audit will get them criminally. Wayne?
Absolutely. You have to get the documentation. You know, before the IRS decides to indict somebody for tax fraud, they audit them. So it's the same thing here with the Federal Reserve. You can't just say they've committed criminal acts you've got to have evidence. And you only can get that kind of evidence because we're dealing in very complicated financial systems. You're only going to get that evidence through an audit.
But, I mean, Michael, I understand your point. You want something more. But Ron Paul has said, you audit the Fed, you abolish them. We know all the fraud they've engaged in. Once we have it all, look at Geithner in these emails. He's about to go under. Believe me, we want it all, don't we, Wayne?
Absolutely. But you've got to start. You got to start somewhere, and an audit sounds perfectly reasonable.
And notice for 2 years the Fed fighting an audit and now starting to lose, that makes them look really guilty, doesn't it, Wayne? The fact that they're like, no, don't look.
Well, if they act like they've got something to hide, they probably do.
Michael, anything else?
Yeah, you said Obama is compromised, and obviously is. What is the likelihood that he's been set up to take a fall no matter what if there's too much heat that comes down?
I agree. They always flush presidents down the toilet. That's why we point out when he was powerful and a rock star, he was a betrayer. And my films that Wayne is in, Fall of the Republic, we say, now look out. It's the next guy you got to worry about.
Right. And we saw that with Jimmy Carter, how they basically used him, and here was a guy who once he served their purposes, they got rid of him and replaced him with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, nobody said this was easy, Michael. It's generally educating the public about how things really work. As Thomas Jefferson said, educate the public, liberty will flow from that. And educate them about the ways of elites and how they operate, and we can stop them. I appreciate your call. Sorry to Terry, Ralph, Kip, and others. Call me back tomorrow. Retransmission is going to be amazing in the first hour as I break down Bankergate. That starts in just a few minutes on the audio streams at Infowars.com on the AM and FM dial. Wayne Madsen, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Good to be with you.
Take care, my friend. Great job, crew. We'll be right back on the other side in 1 minute. Stay with us.